Salam.
Jam.
Shanti.
We all want the same thing.
Peace.
And Rotary clubs
Tolla.
are making it happen. Through international scholarships to promote peace around the world.
Happy.
Rotary. Humanity in motion.
The PACE group, John Lorvin, is heading up our executive search. We've engaged them to do that. Current plan is that the first week in November, he's supposed to have 3 to 4 candidates that he believes that we should really take a serious look at. And we're going to have complete profiles developed of those people. He will have completed by that time their background checks and all that type of stuff, so we'll know that these are good, viable candidates. And then the intent would be we'll review those and look at getting it down to a reasonable number to actually interview on site, and then we will do that around the week of the 17th and 19th, somewhere in that range is when we will do that. And that'll be a broad-based process with all the board members being involved in that process. I think really now we're talking about a 2-person staff is going to be more the model that we'll end up with, at least initially, until funding kind of lines out. We get the private sector funding thing done and have some stability in the public sector funding. Yes, it would be our intent to have a unit drive after our new director gets on board, and because that'll be key in being able to demonstrate to the private sector as to what's going to be done and who the leader of that group will be. So I would think that probably within late first quarter into the second quarter would be when that fund drive would be conducted. Well, let's talk first about the funding for the SEDF. We had asked for going from $100,000 to $196,000, and that was approved in the budget cycle, which started July 1st. And of course, that would run through June 30 of next year. When we had our situation where our first candidate that we had backed out, we made the decision to only ask for the original $100,000 until that period of time, until we get an executive director on board. So I think with our current plan, it's highly likely that we'll have an executive director on board by the 1st of January. And then at that point in time, we'd ask for that funding at the higher level to be paid through the end of that fiscal year. Of course, the way the city's budget process is, you start again in January making your request for the following fiscal year. SEDF has changed their fiscal year to match the city's fiscal year, which before it was off 6 months for each other. So that will be in place, and that would be the plan to go forward and make our case again to the City Commission starting in January in their budgeting process, asking for that funding to be renewed again for the following year. Retail study really was not included in the budget. I think the money was left in the carryover balances, but that would purely be a decision that would need to be made in conjunction with the SEDF and the city of whether or not that's something they wanted to go forward with. It was always intended to be to look at gaps that we may have in our retail service area, not trying to bring in companies that would directly compete with what we already had, but look for gaps. What are our consumers in the area looking for that they're now having to leave our community to find? But at this juncture, I think that's on hold until we're really sure that there's firm commitment on the part of the city and the SEDF to proceed on that. But all of that is going to be predicated on having a new executive director and provide leadership in that area.